here we are, back in the Atlanta Born and Brand studios for the first time in a while, thanks COVID. But we want to welcome Jesslyn in today from Biolyte. Jesslyn, thanks so much for hanging out.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, ma'am. The thing I like to do when we start the show out for a lot of folks is say, okay, you run into somebody on the street or on MARTA or wherever it is that you spend your time, and they say, well, Jesslyn, what do you do? What's your answer to that question?
I pedal water.
Yeah.
Yes.
I pedal water. That's a great one. And what's typically the next question that they ask you after that?
Oh, that pretty much sums it up.
Okay.
So we just move on and
succinct.
Go our separate ways. Yeah.
Love it. Well, same question same scenario, but they ask you, well, what is Biolyte?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the water that I pedal is Biolyte.
Yep.
So Biolyte is the first liquid supplement with the same amount of electrolytes as an IV bag. And if you'll notice, I pedal a liquid supplement. It just doesn't sound the same.
No.
Might frighten people.
Yes, a little bit. Raise some different questions.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
So take me back to the beginning. Like, how does the conversation even begin? I know there's some family roots, with you guys. Tell me where Biolyte started from the beginning.
Okay, so Biolyte got started because my mom had breast cancer. And when she was going through her chemo treatments, she was so tired and so sick and so dehydrated to the point where she literally couldn't keep up with her treatments without getting an IV bag beforehand. Now, my family was trying everything. Sports drinks, children's rehydration products, powders, and nothing was working. Now, my dad is an anesthesiologist. He was, Atlanta born and brand.
Yeah.
And he was, has years of experience tailoring his patients' IV bags with nutritional supplementation to help them feel better. And when we were really struggling with my mom and trying to keep her healthy and hydrated enough for treatments, him and my oldest sister, Sarah, put their heads together to create a product that would bring the IV bag home to people when and where they needed it. So that set them out on this journey. Dad had the expertise, Sarah had the time to build Biolyte, and what I am very lucky enough to be a part of today.
So tell me time frame. When did that kind of get started?
So mom was diagnosed with cancer in 2005.
Okay.
And those conversations started kind of matriculating in a few years later. It was kind of one of those things that it was like a subconscious something that this need sparked this idea of like, what do we do now? Mom used IV bags all during her treatments.
Right.
And so they really got started with it back in 2012, around that time. And I was still in college. I went to Georgia. And I just transferred to Georgia around that time from the College of Charleston.
Okay.
And I had no idea that my family was working on this on the side. Literally, it was a secret in the family for years.
Keeping it tight.
It is very
lid closed.
100%. And it is extremely challenging in a family of mom, my two older sisters, and me. So, Dad is increasingly outnumbered by women. And so...
I feel him.
Right?
I feel him, yes. I feel you, Dad.
We can't keep a secret. So the fact that they were able to keep the secret for so many years, and then when I heard about it, it was 2016. And the reason why it took so long is because it is incredibly challenging to turn IV fluid into something that tastes good.
Sure.
There was a lot of iterations, and people still Biolyte it's a salty product, but that's the thing, you can't have 7 sports drinks in one bottle, like 7 sports drinks worth of electrolytes in one bottle without having a little bit of salt. So Dad and Sarah tackled the taste issue, tackled this very functional product, and then I came in the picture in 2016.
Now, did you tell me the perspective that you brought, having not been there in the conversations from the very beginning? To, are you the business brain of the of the side? Are you the marketing person? Where did you come in and say, okay, guys, like, great product, but what do we do next?
So that is it's a very interesting question. So I came in with years of weathered experience. As a 25-year-old. Let me tell you, they could not have hired someone with better credentials than myself. So
the last name had nothing to do with it, guys.
0%.
Like, 1,000% resume.
No, 100%.
Yes.
I mean, it is all me. So here's the deal. I was graduated at University of Georgia. I was a theater major. I was a communications major, and then I minored in human development because I just love people. And so Biolyte was a thing, and I was living at home with my parents, actually at the time working as a recruiter because I took the first job that came to me. And so I was living at home. Dad sat me down, and we were, drinking wine, chatting after work, and he was like, Jesslyn, there's something that I want to tell you. And he tells me about Biolyte and how it's supposed to simulate IV fluid and how him and Sarah had been working on it, and it's this huge secret in the family and all the things. And so he was like, and I want you to be in charge of sales. And I was like, back then, I was like, obviously, who wouldn't want me in charge?
Dad.
Natural.
Yeah.
But Dad told me very recently, he was like, Jesslyn, I just didn't want to pay anybody, which was brutal.
Yeah, vote of confidence right there. Yes. Thanks.
So I was like, Dad, listen, I don't know what this stuff looks like. I don't know what it tastes like. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't cut me out of the will or anything, but I have to try it. Like, I've got to see this stuff in action. And he was like, don't worry, because we have 4 pallets of Biolyte showing up to the house tomorrow.
Okay.
So literally, it was me and my oldest sister, Sarah. You have this tractor trailer coming down our driveway in Atlanta, and we're like, boop. You know what I mean?
So what you're trying to tell me is he told you at literally the last possible moment that he could have without it showing up and you being like, do you guys have something to tell me?
What's in the garage?
Right. What's in the garage?
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great.
So the pallets get dropped off. They get in the garage, and I'm brainstorming with friends and family that are in business and all the things, and I'm like, what could I go after? And what I isolate is, let's start here, was low-hanging fruit. I went to West Paces. I bought a backpack cooler. I loaded. Wait, I'm jumping. I didn't even tell you. I had to try the product.
Right, you had to try it.
I had to try it. Oh my gosh. So here's the deal. Dad told me that Biolyte was in existence to simulate IV fluid. And he was like, what I would recommend, and this is very off the cuff, but he was like, I would recommend you put your body into a state of severe dehydration. And he was like, I would recommend that you go out and have, one too many glasses of alcohol.
God, this is such good parenting.
It is extraordinary.
Yes.
Like, he needs to write a book.
Yes.
So that's what I did. I was a recruiter. I went out. So the pallets arrived that
Very
week.
difficult thing for you to do as a 25-year-old.
It was, you take one for the team.
Right.
You do what the family needs.
Yeah. Can't accuse you of not being a team player at all. No.
So I went out, and I woke up the next morning and was, went out, had one too many, woke up the next morning, nauseous, headache.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah,
Yes.
I felt terrible. And Dad told me that the only difference between us and an IV bag is there's a 30-minute delay. So I put a 30-minute timer on my phone and drank Biolyte over ice and was like, why the heck is this so salty? But okay. And drank it down, and I started to hyperventilate because right at around 18 minutes, I didn't feel any different.
Uh-oh.
I felt terrible. And I was like, how am I going to tell my dad that his drink sucks? How am I going to do that?
You've been working how many years on this, Dad?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yes.
Come again?
Right. But I'm not joking. 28 minutes, 29 minutes, like down to the wire was when I started to normalize. And no, I didn't want to run a marathon. I didn't want to, do anything like that. But when you go from I'm sick to I am relatively normal, there's a big difference.
Sure.
However, I knew that of course I wanted my dad's drink to work. Mm-hmm. There was inherent family bias with this. Mm-hmm. So going back to what I started with, went out and bought a backpack cooler. And I was on a mission to sample Biolyte with as many people as humanly possible because I wanted to hear, this is good. This is good stuff. This is it. And I wanted to see why people used it, what they thought about it, all the things, ask all the questions. So low-hanging fruit, the first place that I went was my high school, Love It.
Sure.
Here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned, I was in theater. So I show up to the sports nutrition room and meet with the head athletic trainer, Sean DeFalvaro. And I was like, Sean, I'm an alumni. It's so nice to see you. I've got these drinks. I'd love for you to try them. And he was like, thanks, weirdo.
Yeah.
Get out of here. And I was telling him, I was like, I think it's great for muscle cramps because I really, I was hoping it was great for muscle cramps. I was hoping it was great for dehydration, all the things. And he was like, okay, thank you. We'll try them out. So I get to Love It that Thursday. And I get a call from Sean on Saturday, early in the morning. And he is like, Jesslyn, where can I get more Biolyte? And I was like, you liked it?
Score.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. And I was like, what did you think? Like, why did you like it? All the things. And he was like, Jesslyn, I typically have 10 guys on my football team that are habitual crampers. I gave them one bottle of Biolyte before the game and one at halftime, and 9 of them did not cramp at all. Give me more.
Wow. And
that set me out on this journey to go, if you had made, back in 2016, if you had made the GHSA playoff bracket, you were in the top 16, I showed up to your school with bottles of Biolyte and talked to you about
for all you habitual crampers out there. Yes.
And fatigue issues.
Right.
Because here's the deal. Think about that. I mean, we love football in Georgia. We love it.
Yep.
And you have, typically the guys that go down, you're playing them all the time because they're your best players.
Sure.
So you're talking fatigue issues, muscle cramps, dehydration, all the things. And you can't have that. So there was a huge opportunity for Biolyte for people to try it right when and where they needed it. And it just kind of grew from there.
Love it. Love it. So I'm sure it didn't show up on the palette that first day looking like this.
No, it didn't.
Talk to me how you go from that and the market testing that you were doing to, product launch, getting this thing out into the world, branding, that thing that we love to talk about on the show a lot. All of the things, Jesslyn. What was the next step after that market test you did?
Okay, so here's the deal. Sarah and Dad rolled out this product, and you were absolutely right, brilliant, that the bottle back then, so same bottle, same cap, same all the things, same type of label, but the label looked extremely different.
Okay.
It was extremely medical looking, and it was...
Which is like a nice way of saying that the branding was not finished, ready.
It wasn't. So it was great at that point in time.
Okay.
Because I'm such an advocate for just testing it,
right,
asking feedback, and then building it from there.
Okay.
When you're starting with just an idea with, no insight into how it's going to land, you just got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So they did a very good job. And it was, I mean, the tagline in the beginning was like simulates IV fluid.
Okay.
Let's work with that.
Right. Let's workshop that a little bit, guys. Yeah. The building blocks are there.
Totally.
Yes.
But the building blocks are there.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, those first couple of years, I did over 200 samplings in Kroger, in independent pharmacies, in independent grocery stores, pretty much anywhere and everywhere that would have me. I sampled the product. And what I started to notice, I never wrote a pitch down, but what I started to notice was what people would pick up on. They loved the IV in a bottle. They loved the, when to use it, for dehydration, muscle cramps, fatigue, overindulgence, and, building it from there. And so I definitely wanted to simplify the bottle. And so what happened was that I got these koozies made that were this color blue with this symbol on it, because I noticed that I could be like, hi, would you like to try Biolyte? And people would be like, no, peace.
Right.
But I'd be like, hi, would you like to try the IV in a bottle? And people would be like, maybe.
Do I fall into one of these categories?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Yes.
So I wanted to put that on a koozie. And I noticed, so I put the bottles in the koozies, and I noticed I got a ton more traffic when I had those koozies on. So then I put the bottle as it was, and I put the bottle with the koozie on it on the shelf, and it was like a night and day, because all you're trying to do is get someone's attention.
Sure.
It's like you're trying to get somebody to go on a first date with you. You got to look right.
Right.
You got to look the part.
You got to market yourself.
You got to
right?
market yourself.
Yeah, we were just talking about this.
100%. So I was like, we got to do something with the label. Think the koozie's the way to go, all the things. But this is one of my favorite stories, like in the history of Biolyte, because I have no idea how we got away with it. Okay.
That's a good setup. If it lives up to that, it's going to be a good one.
So here's the deal. We were all so excited about the new label. Yeah. And we had one flavor at the time, citrus. And so all you had was white, dark blue, light blue was what I was going with. It was clean, it was chic, but it was just medical enough to, be like live in the foundation that it's built on.
Legit, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we are working with a marketing company here in Atlanta, and we're so excited about this label, all the things, and we planned this big launch party. We're having 50 people, which was huge for at the time.
Yeah.
So we get the bottles in, and I am waiting there with bated breath. The tractor trailer is backing up to the dock, and
same guy.
So not the same guy. Wish. Wonder where he is. Miss you. So he back up. We undo the pallet, and in their little trays, I can already tell that something is wrong. So there's so many aspects of a label that you have to it is a whole nother world that you don't like. It's like chemistry. It is wild. It's the wild, wild west. So the way that we wanted to do the label was have it from here to here. That was the layout of the label. However, when the label arrived, it was shifted.
Okay.
So we were going to do, the label was here. We had a strip of clear right here to kind of make up for this indentation and add some, fun to it. It was shifted so that the clear was here, and then Biolyte was wonky on this line right here.
Right in the crease.
So I wanted to die. That's what I wanted to do. And
how many pallets are we talking about?
There was no, and so people were like, why didn't you just get a couple bottles? The manufacturer wouldn't refuse.
We print 500,000 or we print none.
And so we're super, right. Definitely learned my lesson there. So that happens, and I'm like, that's that's fine, because some of the bottles I actually kind of liked the way that the Biolyte looked with the kind of the shoulders coming out. I was like, I kind of dig that, but some of them were wonky, so we had to not that one, this one, that one works for the launch party. But then I am driving back to the warehouse, and I get a call, because I didn't pick up on it. I get a call from the marketing group, and they're like, Jesslyn, are you sitting down? And I was like, just lay it on me. Just it's already been a day. Just come on, bring it on. And they were like, we have found 2 misspellings on the bottle.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, okay, what are they? So Biolyte at the time, Biolyte is a liquid supplement. That is legal. We've done all the things. That is what it is.
Yep.
But what was it back in the day? We called it an electrolyte drink. We misspelled electrolyte and drink. Does that not make you die?
Oh, man. And I imagine it was not the smallest print on the bottle.
No,
either.
It's massive.
Right.
So
right.
So here's the deal. On the bottle, it said, so right now it says 550% more electrolytes than leading sports drinks.
Right.
It said 550% more electrolytes than leading sports drinks. We have a joke in the company now where if we're going out for drinks or something, we'll be like, let's go get some drinks. And then we misspelled. So it used to say electrolyte fluid replacement, physician formulated for electrolyte fluid replacement. We misspelled electrolyte up top. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so happy to be here with you today.
They didn't misspell Biolyte.
Didn't.
That's a start.
They didn't.
And it can only get better from here, I suppose, right?
No, 100%.
Yeah.
And the good things that came out of that was you don't ever want to make the same mistake twice.
Sure.
So, or you try not to. And here's the thing. I actually, like I said, I liked the way it looked.
Yeah.
Because Biolyte comes out at you. And so we moved it up, changed that, and we have a process now where we check every single spelling on the bottle.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I mean, you don't see very many bottles that the label goes kind of above that curve there. That's very unique.
Thank you.
Is it not? I mean, maybe I'm just not drinking all, the right stuff.
Have you ever heard the story about how chocolate chip cookies were made?
No.
Okay. So there was a baker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't cook, as you can tell. What do you call that person? There was a baker that wanted to make chocolate cookies, but they ran out of this specific, ingredient but the thing that makes chocolate cookies.
Okay.
And so they were like, well, let me throw in a couple of these chips in the cookie. And it did not mix properly to make a chocolate cookie, but it came out as a chocolate chip cookie. And it's the most popular cookie today.
Right. Happy accident.
Happy accident.
That's right.
Exactly.
Chocolate chip cookies and the Biolyte label.
And Biolyte.
Yeah. What if you, combine Biolyte with chocolate chip cookies? I mean,
you know what would be potentially love it, first and foremost.
Okay.
Second of all, take it one step further. What if we did a salted caramel cookie flavor?
You could call King of Pops and maybe a collab with the chocolate sea salt.
Okay. So
Steven, if you're listening, there it is.
So I have a friend at King of Pops that actually made us a Biolyte popsicle.
Oh man.
It was salty.
It was salty.
It was. Yeah. We were so appreciated, but we need some more. It was not a happy accident.
Okay. It was just an accident.
It was
It was just an accident.
We needed more things.
Excellent. So testing, branding, we've talked through that.
Yeah.
Getting to market. We were just having a conversation before you got here of we're seeing this thing in new and different places all the time. Talk to me about, strategy of having this product that you've tested for yourself, you've tested in the market, it works, but where were your first targets to say, okay, these are the places that our product needs to be?
So I talked to you about the, going to high schools.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down we were having a big, big family night. And my sister brought her husband, Adam Zabo, and we were chatting, and he was like, wow, like, you are really grinding with these high schools, like, good for you. But he was like, Jesslyn, you know that that's not how beverage works, right? He was like, you have to have a distributor. If you want to get it to everybody and anyone, where do people go and buy drinks? Grocery stores, convenience stores, all the things.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's brilliant. So we got a distributor, Savannah Distributing here in Georgia. And where to put Biolyte, it was kind of the same. It was the same situation of, yes, you can have, and I'm not saying that this is the right strategy for everybody, but this was Biolyte's strategy of, we are comfortable taking a chance and putting it out into the world and then learning over time where this thing was going to sell. So we put Biolyte in pretty much anywhere and everywhere. Grocery stores, convenience stores, independent pharmacies, liquor stores. And what has evolved today is you can see how, where the sales are.
Yeah.
So sales do best for us in convenience. Close second grocery, then independent pharmacies, and then liquor stores. So, but we're still so young to, it's not like, okay, so here's the thing. If Biolyte wasn't doing well in any of those categories, then it would be like, okay, we learned our lesson. We're not doing that again.
Sure.
But it really has excelled in all of those. It's just that's where kind of the
right how it ranks out for you.
Totally.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
sense. I'm just a big fan of just testing things and seeing if they work.
Yeah, and the distributor model is huge. Of
Thank you, Adam.
Rather than building all these connections individually and being the peddler that you've self-admitted that you are,
Yes.
let somebody who
can I say something?
Yeah.
I did not come up with that. I was at a sampling and someone, this was in the early days, and somebody came up and they were looking at it and we're just so what do you do? And I was just well, and they were like, do you pedal water?
Yes, I do.
And I was like,
uh-huh.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah. Thank you, slightly rude lady, for
yes.
Clearing that up for me.
People at samplings are wild.
Yeah.
Manners.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you heard the Jim Gaffigan has a stand up about samples at Sam's Club?
No.
He's like, what is it when you walk up and you try the little, cocktail weenie type things and you're like,
I have heard this, yeah.
All right, see you later. And the salesman's kind of standing there like, So anyhow,
wasn't he like, this weenie is
right? Give me three cases of that, please. That's what I need. That's why I came here. Anyhow, wow, we could get way off the tracks if we're not careful there.
Yeah.
So to amazing storyteller, by the way. The theater and communications degree is coming through, and I just want to thank you for that. It's a visual and audio medium that works out just fantastically. But tell me, so you're starting to figure out the distribution model. Tell me, you have this formula. Obviously, you are sort of workshopping different flavors, as time goes on, adding to your product line. But it seems like the basis of the product is kind of set. It's there. So when you think about the evolution of the company 5-10 years down the line, is it expanding markets? Is it expanding product? What do you think about when you think about the future of the company down the line?
I think about expanding reputation. The dream of Biolyte is to have the reputation of being the best recovery supplement on the planet. So that when somebody, God forbid, gets the flu or gets, something more serious like a cancer or something, and you have friends bring you, goodies to help you feel better.
Sure.
If they were to put, your friend brings you're sick with the flu, and your friend drops off a care package, and they have, Powerade in that care package.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Chicken soup and Biolyte. Let's go.
Goodbye. Like,
Right.
do you not love me? Where is Biolyte? That's what we want, because that's what Biolyte is. We are fulfilling the potential of this product. It is literally the best recovery supplement on the planet, bar none. I don't care if you're talking about Gatorade, Powerade, Liquid IV, or Pedialyte. Biolyte is the best to help you feel better. So every single person who experiences symptoms of dehydration, headache, nausea, fatigue, muscle cramps, they have to have this. And that, it's not, yes, building a reputation is first and foremost. So talk about macro level vision. Yes, building out the market, getting into more retailers, really sharpening that brand message. That is all trickled down into the overarching vision of, does what we are doing and how we are doing it build that reputation of being the best recovery supplement by 2025?
Nice. Clock's ticking there, Jesslyn. 2025.
You're telling me.
Yeah. No, that's, tell me, so, I mean, I think in a lot of ways, you guys have experienced probably more success with this product than you could have ever imagined. But I know that none of the conversations that I have in this room on this set are...
By the way, it's beautiful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Our producer, Catherine, worked hard on, polishing it up for you here today. But none of those conversations are void of challenges. We talked about speed bumps with the label. But I wonder if you could expound what's been hard? What's been kind of the most challenging thing for you that maybe you didn't foresee when, you were handpicked by your dad because of the resume to fill this role? What's been hard for you?
It's funny because back when I was in college, or right out of college, and when I was a recruiter, I would look at people's LinkedIn profiles, and I'd be like, so and so has been at this company for 8 years.
Sure.
So and so has been at this company for 16 years, 20 years. I'm like, ugh, how boring. That sounds terrible.
That's so millennial of you to think about it that way.
Yes. I know. It's a shame.
I'm with you though.
But here's the deal: is that Biolyte, that's something that I didn't know when I was looking at these profiles. Biolyte especially has looked completely different and has required completely different things from me throughout this 5-year journey. So in the beginning days, the biggest problem we were having was legitimately we would have 100 orders and I would be packing the boxes and doing the invoices and trying to juggle all of those roles because we had no money to hire anybody. And, we weren't apt to, because, no business. I was like, well, if we don't have the money, then we can't afford, go get money. Dummy, come on. But the really every single year, and the challenges that we run into are completely different, and at that point in time are the biggest oh my, how are we going to X? But once we figure out how we are going to X, now with the how am I going to, I am definitely feeling, at this point in time, I am feeling my age. I'm 30. I am feeling my lack of experience and my lack of wisdom when it comes to building a company. I mean, you can packing a box or, figuring out an invoice, all those things. I've been kind of able to improv and figure it out as I went.
Sure.
This is the first time that improv and lack of planning is gonna put a ceiling on the company. And so this year especially, I've taken my education and learning and seeking wisdom, reading, joining the business network that I joined, Vistage, to learn from these other very wise CEOs and presidents and leaders that have figured out a way to break through that ceiling.
Sure.
But that is from a personal struggle, that is really something that I'm facing. And internally, the person that we potentially would have hired for, throwing an example, for operations could potentially not be the person that we need today.
Right.
Because the business needs are so
different.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're so much different. They're so much more different. And so that challenge, so recognizing, okay, I don't have all the answers. Okay, I have to go seek that so I can extend my ceiling. But not only that, hiring these very talented, very experienced, wise people to come in that I can lean on and say, you got it. Here's the vision. Here's where we want to go. We want to have the reputation of being the best recovery supplement. You're in charge of marketing. Drive it.
Right.
And that has been currently, that is the joy and the curse of my position right now.
So would you say that you're the playwright or the screenwriter and you have to pick the right actors to come in and, execute the vision just how you want to?
What's cool about the theater, my theater major, is that they force you to be every single person in that play. You have to do lighting. You have to be a stage manager.
Sure.
You have to be, I don't care if you want to be an actor. You have to build sets.
Yeah.
So what rather than a playwright, I would say that the playbook is written. It's not perfect. We're sharpening it, but a copywriter is going to do that way better than me. I am the director.
Okay.
I am the director saying, yes, this actor, lighting, blows. We need to fix the lighting. The sound is too quiet.
Sure.
All of that. Oh my, and what a joy to be able to, and that's the thing, is that you can get so bogged down so easily in, I've got so much that I have to do. And I don't know enough. And why me? Poor me. But I wanted this. I wanted this position. I wanted to lead this company. My dad thought about bringing in outside people, and I was like, I will die. I mean, what a horrible daughter. I totally needed guidance, but I was like, absolutely not. I put together PowerPoint presentations. This is why I need to be CEO. They turned me down. Put it together another PowerPoint presentation, turned me down on that one, and I finally got the role. But it's not it's either, it is, I'm learning this new thing called both and. It can be challenging and difficult and hard and, to the point of, where you're struggling, but it can also be wonderful and beautiful and incredible at the same time. It's not an either or thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all the great movies that we watch. None of them are conflict free. But that's part of the journey, right? Yeah. And so, no, entrepreneurship is as such, and your whole family is kind of walking that journey together, which is super cool. Yeah. But, awesome, Jesslyn. Well, thanks for chatting with us. We wish you all the best. Yeah. The product looks great, by the way. So your influence there is appreciated. It doesn't look terribly medical anymore, which...
But just enough.
Just enough. The IV in a bottle, you workshopped that one well.
Thank you.
So props. And thanks for hanging out, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you for having me.